Avatar: The Last Airbender will go down in history as one of the best animated shows to date, and it's all thanks to the gang's quirky dynamics, aside from the compelling storylines and epic fight scenes. Now that Netflix will adapt it, we heard that Avatar: The Last Airbender Remake will be more mature than the original. But up to what extent? If you're curious to know more, then stay tuned until the end. First up, according to Netflix, the remake of Avatar will be more mature than the original, which drew mixed reactions from the fans. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most popular animated fantasy series of all time. The Nickelodeon series is set in a fantasy world inspired by Eastern traditions, where the Avatar, a chosen figure, must put an end to a developing war between the globe's four main nations. The series ended in 2008, yet the show has never stopped garnering admirers. Netflix is now producing a live-action adaptation. Netflix's decision is pretty risky, considering many people adore the story and will be disappointed if Netflix messes it up. How much should they alter their behavior? How much is excessive? Should they make any changes in the first place? For better understanding, Uncle Iroh's actor explains in a Q&A segment how this Avatar remake is considered more mature than the original. Although the show is still in the works, cast member Paul Sun-Hwang Lee, who plays fan favorite Uncle Iroh, spoke about how the tone is altering in a Q&A. The upcoming Last Airbender show will reportedly be more mature. According to Lee, the new show aims to expand the franchise's viewership. He believes it will appeal to teenagers and tweens, but believes the new series may be a little too intense for younger kids. However, the actor believes it will be accessible to grown-ups. While the Nick cartoon really was for the younger audiences, it didn't mean older audiences couldn't enjoy it, Lee explained in a statement. I think they're making it a little bit more mature in that sense, and I think that's part of growing that audience. And I think a lot of fans of the animated show will be very, very happy with what they see, because there is a definite respect for the source material, but it's an adaptation. It's not going to be word for word, page for page, because why do an adaptation? Just watch the animated cartoon. Of course, there's a risk that viewers will dismiss the new show and do just that, especially if the production team fails to strike the appropriate balance. What many fans fear is that when Lee mentions bits of the old program being played with children, he implies that the original series had a lot of humor, which it did. It's difficult to picture The Last Airbender without it. No one wants to repeat of Night Shyamalan's notoriously bad film adaptation, which removed a lot of the hilarious content. It's terrifying to think that the Netflix show's creators are going down that road again, though Lee claims it's only to make the tone of the first season more in line with the second and third, which both contained lots of laughs. In the original series, Avatar started pretty lightly, but eventually tackled sensitive topics as the show progressed. The creators aimed to find the proper blend of this transition for the remake. Speaking candidly, Lee spoke frankly about how the first season of the animated series was geared toward younger children, but as the books progressed, the themes became more mature. He explained that it still has that whimsical quality for the younger children, which is great, but the themes were much deeper, and the characters' arcs were much more heartbreaking and mature. The quality, according to the actor, is what they're aiming for in the first season. News of the Avatar remake taking in a more mature theme had fans suggesting that the show would adopt the legend of the Korra storytelling instead. Korra, Aang's successor and the main protagonist in the Avatar sequel, has better storytelling compared to the first Avatar series, with Korra's traumas explored better than her predecessor. The Legend of Korra exhibits Korra's trauma in a vastly different manner, wherein instead of being centered all the more halfway around one-off episodes, the more full-grown nature of the show considers Korra's issues to be fanned out across the whole show. The fundamental instances of this come in the Season 2 and Season 3 finales of The Legend of Korra. In these episodes, Korra loses her otherworldly association with her past avatars and becomes deadened by the Red Lotus after being harmed. With both of these issues affecting Korra, one of her principal dissatisfaction with herself all through Season 3 and 4 is that she can't ask her past avatars to assist with enjoying Aang did with Kyoshi for her different attitude, or Roku for his insight. Likewise, her paralysis toward the finish of Season 3 stretches out across the initial segment of Season 4. In any case, where these two occasions vary from Aang's issues is that they finish in a disastrous, strongly practical portrayal of PTSD for Korra across The Legend of Korra Season 4. The aggregate of the last season recounts the narrative of how these occasions have caused Korra extreme awful pressure, making her less viable as the need might arise to beat her previous injury. This is distinctly unique about Aang's depiction, with a ton of Aang's issues being tended to in the solitary episodes and less affecting on his general life, excepting a couple of explicit occurrences. Many fans and critics critics pointing out that making Aang and Korra more alike will lessen the impact of their differences, which will improve the show altogether. Making Aang more like the protagonist of Legend of Korra and Netflix's The Last Airbender as far as the show's depiction of his awful mishaps will be helpful in additional ways than one. While it would permit Aang's issues to be introduced all the more normally, showing his battle to manage the huge issues the first show introduced over a more extended period, it will assist with tending to perhaps the greatest analysis of The Legend of Korra, particularly on the off chance that Netflix chooses to adjust the last option not too far off. One of the primary reactions to the continuation show was that the uncommon change between Aang's personality and Korra's. While a ton of those changes character-wise were essential and laid out Korra as her own personality who wasn't eclipsed by Aang, showing both of the characters managing injury in comparable ways would assist with reducing the distinctions between Avatar Korra and Avatar Aang. In doing as such, it would give the characters something in a like manner beyond basically being avatars. This would make their extraordinary character contrasts possibly less shaking, should Aang be displayed as more like Korra and Netflix's transformation. It is not clear exactly how the famous characters of Nickelodeon's animation will mean true to life. In any case, it stays genuine that Netflix could gain from The Legend of Korra and would be shrewd not to excuse it as a disengaged continuation. Overcoming any issues by investigating how the two nominal characters manage their injury wouldn't just permit Netflix's Avatar, The Last Airbender, to be more sincerely full and more developed than its topic, yet would make Aang and Korra, his profound replacement, feel more associated and permit crowds to additionally identify with the legend, who takes a stab at balance in a war-torn world. This is a hot take, but The Legend of Korra has a better story than its predecessor, since it has a more mature storytelling that will fit well in the remake. Korra is clearly geared at a more mature audience than The Last Airbender, as she battles spiritual and political conflict on a rapidly modernizing planet. Moral issues of luck, egalitarianism, and redistribution, and discussions concerning mental health, privilege, fascism, and racial dominance are all addressed in Korra. The Last Airbender also deals with mature themes, but they are less complex than those explored in Korra because the 100-Year War is over in the sequel series, and the global political stage is far more complicated than The Last Airbender's simpler premise of defeating the imperialist Fire Nation. Aang's major opponent throughout the series is Fire Lord Ozai, a somewhat one-dimensional villain whose objective was power, despite Zoku's amazing character redemption story. Korra, on the other side, faces a slew of villains, each with their own set of ambitions and morals, as well as the conviction that their actions are correct. Most notably, Kuvira, who serves as a dark mirror image of Korra. The Legend of Korra relied on its viewership to understand that good and evil are relative to one's perspective, rather than concrete or objective stances. Similarly, the characters in The Legend of Korra have more complicated and strong emotional arcs than their counterparts in The Last Airbender. Aang and his pals evolved throughout this series, but their stories largely followed standard coming-of-age arcs. The Legend of Korra's characters' aims, morals, and emotional self-awareness is more nuanced and mature, making Korra's characters more appealing. We'll be ending today's video on this note, but hopefully Netflix will listen to the fans' suggestions. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.